No.
Why are you getting angry?
I'm not
What's your
getting-
name, by the way?
I'm getting.
What's your name,
I'm
by the way?
getting
What's your name?
enthusiastic.
What's your name, by the way?
Common as much. Viren.
My name's Abbas. Viren, nice to meet you. Can we have some manners?
Answer a question.
Can we have some manners?
Didn't we make a deal?
Yes, but can we have? Can we show us? Can we have some manners? Can we have manners, please? Main party, the main people who were fighting against the occupation were Muslims.
Yeah.
They were the ones who liberated
That's what happened back in the day.
India. And you know, people, they come up with this, what do they do for India? What have they done for India? You know, astaghfirullah, man. Where credit is due, at least have the heart, the honesty, the integrity, the decency, the humility, the humanity to recognize when somebody has favored you. And from our perspective, that's enough. I don't need well, of course, look.
If a boss chooses the next second in command, somebody to be similar to him.
Yes.
And why didn't he choose somebody similar to him?
Well, you're talking about a boss.
No, we're talking about Allah. Like, Allah's the boss, right? Let's say Allah is the boss.
Well, we don't look at it like that.
He's the Allah.
Yeah,
what way do you look at it?
Well, a boss is not all-knowing, is he?
He's for his business.
Well, no, not all-knowing, though, is he?
For his business, he is.
No, he's not. He doesn't know everything about his business, does he?
He knows more enough.
He has limited knowledge, right?
But
and on his limited knowledge, he makes a decision, right?
To choose somebody who's going to take over the mantle.
Right.
Which is very similar to
Or
he didn't know, did he?
Or do his will, what he wants them to do, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is his will?
So God chose, we believe Allah chose Prophet Muhammad as the final messenger, because God's intellect, God's knowledge, God's understanding, we believe to be infinite, and ours is not. Ours is finite.
Yeah.
So for me to judge a decision made by God, by His unlimited wisdom and knowledge,
I'm not judging
and try to make but try to make a value judgment on that.
I'm just thinking that
is rather arrogant, isn't it?
His decision should have been greater and better. It's not arrogant.
Greater and better based on.
Doesn't everybody make mistakes with their decisions?
Everyone, yes.
Yes.
Not God.
God. Well, I think he made a mistake, didn't he?
You think God makes mistakes?
Yeah.
So you don't believe God?
Why do you have diseases? Why do you have cancer? Why do people get?
Why have a great flood?
Okay.
Yeah. Why do you have a great flood?
So you believe?
Why do you have do you believe in the particle of disease?
Yeah, but are we going to stick to one topic or like a dozen?
But that's. So I'm talking about he makes mistakes.
Okay.
That's the topic.
Why is there being disease in the world a mistake?
Well, we should all be healthy and live well.
Okay.
But good people die of cancer, don't they? Why is that?
Yes, they do. If you based your opinions in relation to this life being it, and there being no afterlife, then you would have some point there. But if you believe that this life was, as we are told, but a blink of an eye. Hold on, let me make the point. If you believe, as we believe, that this life is but a blink of an eye, and that the worst of trials and tribulations will seem insignificant to the soul that is raised in the hereafter, then it has a completely different perspective on suffering. But if your concept is that life is 50 years or 100 years and I die of cancer, I would agree with you. That's a horrible, treacherous, horrible thing to happen to a person, right?
Yeah.
But if your concept of life is but a blink of an eye, then it becomes insignificant. No matter how significant you may feel it is today, Allah says that when we raise you on the Day of Judgment,
if you get cancer, you will still go to heaven.
Allah says that when we raise you on the Day of Judgment, and we question the person who has the most luxurious of lives of this earth, and we but dip him into the hellfire for a split second, a blink of an eye, and we question him, did you see any good in this life?
Right.
He will say, I swear by you, Lord, I have seen nothing good in this life.
Who says that?
And when Allah says, we question the
Is
man,
that general people?
and we question the man, the person who had the worst of lives, the most trials and tribulations and the most suffering on this
Obviously,
earth,
He's going to say he's good.
and he is raised, and Allah says, we dip him into paradise for but a second, a blink of an eye, and we question him, did you see any suffering on earth? He will say, Wallah, I swear by the Lord that created me, I saw no suffering. So you see, when you look at things within the realms of infinite after death,
Right.
or the very finite, which is life, your perspective will be different. I don't blame you for that.
That is not a lot to do with the actual question I answered.
I think it has everything to do with the question.
What, he chose somebody which was most suitable for the job?
He
You
chose
think at the time.
he chose who he thought was best for the job.
And how was he best for the job?
Well,
What way was he best for the job?
I don't know.
Please tell me.
There were things that are seen, and there are things that are unseen.
So he's a role model, is
The
he?
unseen I cannot comment on. The seen I can comment on. He was known as Al-Amin, the truthful
So
one,
people say.
honest.
So people say.
Well, you've asked me my opinion, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've not asked me for certainty, have you?
No.
So I'm giving you my opinion.
Yeah, and so I'm telling you what your opinion is. What so people say, because
Yes,
that's what you have
of course.
heard. So that's so people say.
Yes.
He was known.
Yes.
So,
I mean,
I'm not
so he
saying
was
anything
known for
wrong
his
by that.
honesty.
So
He
it's
was known for his
hearsay.
integrity.
So
He was known for
people
his
say.
compassion. He was known for his love. He was known for his charity. Those were the seen aspects of his
so
life.
People say.
Yeah, of course.
Nobody knows that it's actually true.
Well, when you say
they?
nobody knows that is actually true,
Yeah.
the way of asserting or analyzing any truth
Right.
is based upon a balance of probability.
Okay.
How likely is it for something to have been like this?
What was the
And,
reason?
and what would I see in the future if that was in fact as was explained? And if
Yeah,
the
okay,
person,
fair enough.
however, wasn't, what would I see?
You're going on.
Oh, I like to waffle a
You
bit.
do waffle.
I love it.
Incredibly.
I do love it. yeah.
Answer so my first question was the creator should choose somebody who's very much like himself. You know.
Why? Why do you
Another
say that?
creator.
You're
Why
making-
shouldn't he?
you're making-
No, but why shouldn't he?
Because you're making you're making a value judgment.
If I wanted to get another speaker, I would choose somebody who's another good speaker.
No.
I wouldn't choose somebody who's not a good speaker.
Right.
Would you? You choose something which is of your image and of your character
not-
and who is like
not
you.
necessarily.
Wouldn't you?
Not
Yes,
necessarily,
you would.
no.
But you more than necessary,
No,
though.
no.
More than likely, though.
No, if I want somebody to come and give an explanation about biology,
Yeah.
I'm not going to pick me,
But you'd get another person.
but I'd pick somebody who knows about biology, right?
Yeah. So if you're a
So hold on a second.
Yes.
So I would make a value judgment based upon my limited knowledge about that individual, about perhaps certification that person has or whatever that person has, and I would base my opinion upon my knowledge of that person.
Right.
Now,
how is he?
the knowledge of Muhammad, peace be upon him,
Was he?
who better knows Muhammad than the one who created Muhammad,
So you say.
right?
So you say.
But that's my perspective of looking at it. That's the look.
But none of it could be true, though.
But look,
could it? None of it is true,
the
though. None of
spectacles,
it could be true, could it?
the spectacles.
Because he was not like a creator. Yeah, he was just a Bedouin.
He doesn't
and
have
he was
to be
just but he could. I'd prefer somebody who was like God.
But that's you, isn't it?
Yeah, but what's wrong
But why
with
should God
why-
stick?
why-
Why should God stick
why-
to your way of thinking?
Why not? But you say
Because are you better than God?
But if somebody you want somebody to talk about biology, you want somebody to know about biology, don't you?
Or I can-
So that's like God. So God is a creator,
Yes.
and he's a just guy. He wants somebody to make the world a better place,
Yes.
and carry on his good work.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's going to choose somebody who's going to make the world a better place,
Yes.
and carry on the good work.
Yes.
Not somebody who just talks and who's a Bedouin, and he doesn't do anything.
but that-
He-
but-
what
but-
did he do?
But
what did he
hold
do?
on, no, no. But that's why he.
That's
No,
not- that is
no,
not-
no. Okay.
That is not the answer.
Okay.
That is not the answer.
Okay, sorry.
What did he you do.
Okay, look, what's your name? Sorry, what's your name?
Check your
That,
history.
yeah,
You will
that,
know.
yeah, you,
I don't want to-
Let's have a-
you
don't get
always
upset.
come out with that rubbish.
Don't get upset.
1.5
Don't get upset.
Common as muck.
Don't get upset.
Common as muck. Have
Why are you
heard
getting
that
Why are
saying?
you getting angry
You
for?
see the association. No.
Why are you getting
because
angry for?
I'm not
What's your
getting-
name, by the way?
I'm getting
What's your name,
I'm
by the way?
getting
What's your name?
enthusiastic.
What's your name, by the way?
common as muck. Viren.
My name's Abbas. Viren, nice to meet you. Viren, look.
Why do they always come out with that 1.5 million crap?
Viren.
No, why do they always
Look,
come out with that?
let's not talk. Let's talk
No,
about.
answer the question.
Let's talk about what we're talking
Look,
about.
I'll make a deal, Abbas. You ask
Let's have
me-
a nice
no,
discussion.
You ask me
Let's have a nice chat.
You
Come on.
ask me a question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will
Okay,
answer it.
let's
I
have
will
a nice-
not run round the
Let-
round the park
Fine.
with bullshit.
Viren, let's have a nice
making-
discussion.
Just diverting.
I understand.
Right? I want an
Let's have a nice
question,
discussion.
Answer.
We can both
question,
shake hands and
answer.
disagree. We can both shake hands and disagree,
Yeah, we can
right?
do.
But let's have
What's 1.5 billion
let's
got to
have a
do with
friendly.
anything?
Let's have a
Can
friendly.
I ask you
okay.
that though? That's my first question. What has 1.5
I'd rather not-
billion- What?
I'd rather not go
no,
into that.
We made a deal about answering questions.
Okay. You okay?
So
You okay?
What is
You-
1.5 billion?
What does it have to do with anything? Okay.
Yeah.
Normally in society, the veracity, the validity, the strength of a message is often judged by the ones who are convinced by that message, especially if they are also intellectual, intelligent, educated, capable people. If people follow somebody and the followers are all pretty much uneducated, unsophisticated, with no knowledge, then you might argue and
they
say,
are in many ways.
well, many are, many aren't, right?
Yeah, but
that's
there are many
that's the
that
point.
are.
Well, my point
They
to
do say scientists, inventors,
my
and
point to you,
designers are mostly atheists.
Viren, my point
Is
to you.
that true, though?
Many of them actually are not atheists, they're agnostic.
Agnostic.
The,
then,
the
okay.
bulk of them,
Yeah.
and many
They're not
of them.
Muslims, are they?
No, but many of them actually believe in a higher power.
That may be true.
Okay.
But that
So
doesn't mean
my
it's the
point to
power
you.
of
So the
Islam.
1.5 billion, or the Christian might say the 2 billion.
Yes.
I would argue.
You never hear Christians say 2
Well,
billion.
sometimes they do.
You hardly
No, but Viren-
you never.
Okay.
I've hardly ever
Let's-
heard that. And
Viren,
I've never
let
actually heard
me
it.
let me answer your question.
But the Muslims always
Yes.
come out with that.
Well, because
what's the big deal about
Well,
that?
because as I said to you, that it's very easy to convince a fool of something.
Yeah, like he's coming out with
Well,
that.
it's very easy to convince a fool. But when you have a great number of people, many whom are highly educated, I'm not saying it in
Have you
it.
heard of following the herd?
I'm not saying it in itself is a overwhelming, overarching, convincing factor.
It isn't totally.
I'm saying it is just one of many factors.
There isn't any factors.
I'm just saying it's one of many.
There's no factor.
Anyway, let's go back to our point. Your point is, why did God choose Muhammad?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're looking at that from the spectacles of
Somebody
if you're looking at
who
it,
just talked.
well,
Talk is cheap,
you're-
by the way.
look, okay. You see,
They say that.
you say talk is cheap, right?
Talk is cheap. Action speaks
You
louder than
say
words.
why
He
did God
just
choose?
talked.
Why did God choose?
Why did he just talk?
Why did God choose a Bedouin in the 7th century, okay,
Yeah, why?
to convince the world
He didn't actually do anything.
of his message? Yes, and
Message.
yet, look, this Bedouin, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the 7th
Why do you
century,
say- He was a war.
in the
wasn't he a
in the
warlord?
7th century,
Wasn't he a warlord?
comes up with statements that today hang in Harvard.
What statements?
Huh?
Give us a statement.
7th century.
Give us a statement, please.
7th century Arab
Give us one
who
of your
was illiterate. Let me just
Give us one of your.
let me make it a little bit colourful,
Go on
please.
then. No.
Let's make it a little bit
No, you're
entertaining.
running round the
Come on,
path
Viren.
again.
Okay.
Just tell us.
What does the Quran say? O ye who believe, stand up at injustice as witnesses, even against yourselves, against your parents, against your kin, whether one is rich or poor. Harvard University wanted to hang 3 statements in history that were statements of law, of justice,
That's simple.
of justice, right?
But that's he's simply saying if somebody's
Who do
if
they-
somebody does something unjust to you,
Listen.
you should stand up for it. That's all he's saying.
Who do they
What's the big
choose?
deal about that?
Who do they choose?
What's wrong with what's the big deal about that?
Whose statement did they choose?
That's long-winded.
They chose
don't go on
a
about,
statement
oh, look at
of a
this.
man in a desert
Oh my
in the
God.
7th century.
Something is
Okay, a
unjust.
Bedouin.
I'm standing up for
Okay?
your
Now,
unjustness.
to answer your question,
I'm standing up for your unjustness.
Viren.
And don't waffle
Viren.
on I don't want to hear
answer
it.
your-
You're burning my ears with your waffle. Who cares it was in Harvard?
what
What's the
will,
big deal about that?
what,
in
what will the
Harvard?
disbelievers do?
That was the common sense.
They stick the fingers in their ears. This is the Quran says.
We don't want to know.
You said,
I've
what,
just told you
you
what it
said,
is. I've concised it already.
What's that?
If somebody does something unjust to you, you should stand up for it and do the right thing.
why do you think Harvard selected
Isn't that true
statement?
though? Isn't that true
Yes.
though? Is that what I said?
Yes.
Is that all that was saying? Is that all it's saying?
No, it's very
What is it
eloquent
saying?
in the way that it says it.
Oh, give me a break.
And you know what,
But that's what that's saying.
And
though,
Viren, you know what-
Isn't that what that's saying?
Viren, you know what makes it...
Isn't that what that was
Viren,
saying though?
we have to-
I said ask a question.
Can we have some manners?
Answer a question.
Can we have some manners?
Did we make a deal?
Yes, but can we
I
have...
said-
but
said,
can we show
if
us...
I ask
Can
you
we
a
have some
question-
manners? Can we have manners, please?
I said to you, if I asked you a question,
Yes.
yeah, you would answer it.
Well, you have to give me an opportunity to answer,
Okay,
right?
so isn't that what I said? You know the
Yes.
statement?
I'm answering the
is-
question.
What I just said,
I'm
isn't
answering-
that basically what that is?
Similar, yes. Can I just answer
So
the...
similar is pretty good.
Can I answer the question?
Go on then.
You know what makes it amazing?
You go on though.
You know what makes it amazing?
You go on.
Can you know what
It's
makes
not
it
amazing that
You
you
know
go
what makes
on.
it amazing? That it's first of all it's put on Harvard, number one. It makes it amazing.
That's not amazing.
What makes it amazing
That's
is
not amazing.
they searched through history for statements that were profound in relation to justice.
I just said something which is very similar to that.
But you said
Just
it.
as profound.
You are not an illiterate nomad in the 7th century.
What does illiterate?
That's
you can
what
still
makes it
talk,
significant.
Arnie.
Why is it significant?
Why is the significance of him being illiterate? Everybody can talk. He could talk though.
So
couldn't
why
he?
would Harvard choose
So
it?
it was
then?
a statement.
Let me ask you a question. Why would
So
Harvard choose it?
somebody said something
That was
even though
profound.
he couldn't, but
In the 7th
you-
century.
Don't you think? Yeah, but people have said that Jesus was how that was.
You asked me a
2,000
question.
years
Why did
ago.
God choose this man?
He's not the only person.
You asked me a question. Why did God choose
That's
this man?
nothing great though. That.
Okay. Well, Harvard clearly think it is.
Well,
You might
don't
not.
go on about the Harvard crap, please.
You might not, but
Don't
Harvard clearly
please
think it
go on
is.
about
Yeah.
it.
So no.
Because it's nothing
because it
special.
doesn't suit
It
his
ain't
argument.
nothing special.
No, because it doesn't suit his
Because
argument.
it's
That's
common
why.
sense that is.
Because it doesn't suit his argument.
No, it does. No, it does.
No, it
Marvin.
doesn't.
No, you're just going on. You're just going on about
Viren,
nothing
you're being
special.
unfair.
No, you're
You-
being
no,
unfair.
you-
You're just
you
going
know what you
on
could say?
about nothing special.
You know what you could say?
can
Okay,
I
fine.
say?
You could say, okay, fine.
That was not too bad.
You could say, okay, you know what? That was quite special in the 7th century when slavery, when mass killing, when tribalism, when open theft, when all of these things were completely common around the world. That was quite a profound statement
Well,
to
I
make.
can't- look,
You can
I-
at least be honest about that, can't you?
No. Well,
No,
so you should
no, you can't be honest about
stand
that.
up and fight for unjustness, right? How is that?
At that time, it was hard.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that is nothing new. That's why people
Okay.
fall.
Anyway, look.
That's people view.
Okay, let's not get bogged down.
No,
Okay.
that is not. That is
Viren.
life in general.
Viren.
You should stand up and fight for what you want to believe in, the righteousness
Viren.
in what should
Viren.
be right.
Viren.
So that's how religion started,
Viren.
isn't it?
Viren.
Isn't that how religion
Okay,
started?
okay, Viren. Let's not
Yeah.
get stuck
How
on.
old is Jainism? Jainism. How old is Jainism?
Thousands
No
of years
idea.
old.
There you go.
Right.
And what does the Jainism say?
Well, probably many
What-
things, but tell me
But
what,
it just says
something specific.
It says
Yeah,
more than what that says.
we're jumping the gun here, aren't
No,
we? A
we're
bit.
not.
We
'Cause
are.
You're making a statement
Yeah, we
of
are.
something of 7th century.
No,
so
but we
how
are
old,
because
how old was the
look,
last?
I hear,
how
hear
old-
these. Look,
How old was?
Viren?
How long ago was
Relax a
the
bit.
last Jainist
Re-
prophet?
relax a bit, Viren.
Okay, but can I ask you?
Just first, don't keep asking.
Never asked.
I've just answered everything you've asked, Viren.
You did. So how? So what
Viren,
was
why
the
don't you
last
just
prophet?
relax and have a conversation
I'm
rather than
trying-
go bonkers?
No, but you just go on and on and on, mate.
But I'm trying to answer your question.
You're not answering.
You're getting bogged down on one thing.
You're not answering anything.
Your fundamental question was, why did God choose Muhammad?
Yeah.
We believe that God is the best judge,
Right.
the best one to give knowledge,
Okay.
the best one to give revelation. And he selected Muhammad, peace be upon him, and then gave him revelation and taught him that which could be taught to man, to humanity.
Right.
And that's what he did. That's what we believe. I've answered the question now.
Well, I think that's wrong.
Is there anything else you want to ask me?
I think you choose.
choose a king, maybe, or-
No. I'd say you're a better role model than Muhammad.
Well, that's your opinion based upon ignorance, but
No, but
that's your
I
opinion.
would say, but what? How many people have you killed?
How do you know how many I've killed? How can you make
I'm
that judgment?
asking you the question.
I may have killed many people.
And how many have you?
I might
killed?
be a serial
Can
killer.
you answer the question?
No, but-
the guy is
no, but
not
you-
answering any
No,
questions
but you-
again. How many people have you killed?
No, you said I'm better than Muhammad,
Yeah,
but you don't know me.
I think you are.
But you don't know me.
Okay, I'm going to ask.
So how's that
I'm going
logical?
to ask you a few questions to see if you are from
Yes.
what Muhammad has done. Okay.
Yes.
So how many people have you killed?
None.
None. How many people did Muhammad kill?
Physically by himself,
Yeah.
one.
Didn't he behead 600 Jews in?
No, you asked me
Medina?
how many did he kill
Yeah,
himself?
didn't he physically
One.
behead 600
He
Jews himself?
physically killed one person in all his life.
But
And that was
isn't it
because
known
that was because the Prophet ﷺ was told by somebody who was persecuting him and terrorizing
So what
him.
about the
Hold on, let me
600 Jews?
finish.
No,
that
you're
I will
waffling
kill
on
you.
again.
And the Prophet ﷺ
You're
made an
waffling
oath.
on again.
And the Prophet ﷺ said,
what
no,
about the 600
I
Jews in
will kill
Medina?
you.
Excuse
And
me.
whatever the Prophet
The 600
ﷺ
Jews
promised
in
and
Medina.
said
What was
came
it?
true.
The
That was
Battle
the
of
only reason.
Trench, the 600 Jews, the Battle of the Trench.
You want to talk
in
about Banu
Medina.
Qurayza?
What was it?
You want to talk about
Is that
that?
the tribe?
Banu Qurayza, yes.
Okay.
You want to talk about that?
So what was that? Did they get beheaded?
Yes, they
in
did.
Medina?
Yes.
And who beheaded them?
On whose authority?
Yes.
The judgment was passed by a different Sahabi who the Jews themselves agreed would pass the verdict.
So you
And
say
he in fact
you are making all this
and
up,
he in
aren't you?
fact and he in fact said
You are making.
he
all
in
this
fact
up.
said to the Jews that will you
But Muhammad
agree?
was there, wasn't he?
Will you agree?
It has been told Muhammad beheaded these
If you
people
ask
themselves.
a question, if you
It's
ask,
true.
if
Yes,
you
it
ask,
is. You're a
Viren,
liar.
Viren, if you ask a question,
He was there though.
Viren.
Wasn't he there at the time though?
Viren.
Wasn't he there at the time?
Viren, you are showing to me that you're being disingenuous.
No, you are disingenuous because
You really are.
going around the house.
I'm giving you the
Go on
graphic
then.
detail of the
Okay.
thing that you know nothing about.
All right.
Because
No,
he
do you
doesn't
know
like
anything
the
about?
I know.
How do you know?
Because I know history. That's why, and you don't.
No, you.
I know the history that you're talking about, and you don't.
Right. Okay. Whatever.
Look, first of all, objectively, let's look at how many tribes were there in Arabia at the time in Medina.
Loads.
3 main tribes:
But there's more than that. You can't just say.
Banu
three.
Qurayza, Banu Qaynuqa, and Banu Nazir. I think there were 3 tribes.
The 2 tribes will run out of
Three.
Medina.
Hold on a second.
Listen.
Hold
No,
on a
wait
second.
minute. Those 3 tribes, 2 of them. No, 2 tribes will run out of Medina.
Can you let me
by
finish?
Muhammad.
Can you let
no,
me finish?
Isn't that true first?
Can you let me finish?
You're just.
Can you let me
waffling
finish?
On, mate. Yeah, and then the
When-
third
when
tribe,
the whole of the
which
Mid-
conspired with Mecca.
When the whole of the Middle East was taken over, did those 2 tribes still exist in Arabia?
I don't know.
Yes, they did. Were they killed?
Are they there now?
No, they weren't.
Are they there now?
No, they were told to leave
Are they there? Why were they told to leave?
because
Why couldn't they work? live together?
because time and time again
Yeah.
they sided with the enemies of the Muslims to destroy Islam and to destroy the Muslims.
Right.
So because they repeatedly broke their treaties,
Oh, okay.
at that point they were told that they would have to leave, and that's why you had Jews living in Yemen. Till today there are Jews in Yemen, some of which tried to go to Israel and have gone to Israel, where they suffer great racism within Israel, the Yemeni Jews. So my brother, you don't know what you're talking about. You really
Okay,
don't.
no,
You
good
have
to
no
know.
understanding.
Good to know. Thank you for that.
Banu Qurayza repeatedly broke the treaty with the Muslims.
Right.
They committed the act of treason, which, by the way, in this country, at times of war can be revoked and we can execute people for treason in this country. In America, treason still carries the death penalty in America today because it's such a treacherous act that you conspire with the enemies
so they
to
conspired with the
destroy
Meccans.
your nation.
They conspired with the Meccans.
That is a very serious
Is
offense.
that true? They conspired with
Now,
the Meccans.
under Jewish law
Right.
and under Islamic law, the penalty for treason is execution. It was under Jewish law and under
And so
Islamic law.
And the other two tribes which were run out of Medina,
Yes.
what was the reason for them being run out?
I've already explained to you.
They were tried under the Jewish law.
Under Jewish law, that's right. In fact, by an ex-Jew.
And so why were they run
A
out?
convert
The
to
other two
Islam.
tribes?
This is
The
later
other two
on, later on, not in the same.
No, it's before that they were run out.
What was the name of the Sahabi that passed the judgment? The name of the Sahabi was Bismillah.
Well, I'm going to get some water.
The name of the son.
You.
So that's it, you're done?
He should got somebody on in his own light.
But you're running back to the same question now,
Yeah,
aren't
but
you?
that's why I think
The
so.
same light as in what? A God.
As a creator.
So it should be a creator, shouldn't it?
Because in the West we have creators, don't we? We have designers. We do things. You know, in Islam is not known for that. Is it?
Well, all the prophets send down creators.
So it's done. So they're all made up then, aren't they?
And
So they're all lies then, aren't they?
so they're all lies because they
Yeah.
weren't creators.
yeah.
So you've
But we do have creators.
So you've
Do
arbitrarily
we have creators though?
So you've arbitrarily
But do we have creators,
you've
though?
arbitrarily set up
Yes.
a way of deciphering
fake. Yeah.
whether
Yeah.
something is fake or false.
Yes.
And if somebody is
Yeah.
not a god,
Yeah. You should try it.
if somebody
You
is not a
should try
god,
it.
well, that's a foolish way of looking
Why
at
not?
things.
Why not?
Because
What's wrong with that?
Because
A
I
just creative person.
can only send a god down.
So what are you saying exactly?
Sa'd ibn
The
Mu'az.
creator should be
Sa'd ibn
someone
Mu'az.
close to us. That's what you're
The
saying.
prophet.
No, he's saying God should send a god.
No,
But not a
I didn't
creator.
say that.
You said
I
a-
didn't say
well,
that.
you said a
No,
creator.
no.
Lie.
I said that somebody, God should choose somebody who's in his same light and just as himself, who actually makes the world a present, who
But
does
that
something
means-
like designers,
So the Prophet ﷺ did
like
do that.
designers,
So the
engineers.
Prophet did do that.
And what did he design? And what was his engineering?
When Islam came to the Middle East, to the
Right.
Arabia,
Yeah.
these were tribal, Bedouin, warmongering, backward
So
people.
was he though?
Within a century, my friend,
Yeah.
they were in Spain to China, and up to the
Not in his time. He
and
was
up to
only
the
around for 20 years.
and up to the 15th
He
century,
was only around in 20 years.
and up to the 15th century,
He was only
and up
that's
to-
through battle.
and up to the 15th
That's
century,
warmongering. That is
up to the
fighting.
15th century,
You battled.
the
That's
very
war.
foundation
You
of
fought.
science and mathematics was taken from Andalus and from the Muslim world, my friend.
In India,
So
we had.
learn your history.
In India, we had science and
In fact,
mathematics.
the Renaissance would not have occurred in Europe if it wasn't for the science, the baton of science that was passed
Didn't
through.
India have its
Exactly.
own mathematics?
Exactly.
So India never had no mathematics or science.
Did I say that?
So what? So
You were talking about.
Did I say that the Greeks had no knowledge before the
yeah,
Arabs?
exactly. So
Did
what,
I say that?
What did you actually?
Did I
spread
say
then?
that knowledge began with the Muslims?
So you didn't spread anything then.
That-
So you didn't spread anything.
Is
then,
it even
did you?
is it even worth me having a discussion
No, but
with you?
but you just said that they already. They had knowledge. They had science.
Okay, I tell you what you should do.
No.
Do some
I don't-
homework. Do some homework.
I'm asking you. These people already had science.
Do some
and knowledge.
homework.
So the Greek-
I'll give you
the
some
Greek
homework.
or-
Watch a BBC documentary. It's free
Oh, okay.
on Prime by Khaleli. What's the Iraqi? What's his name? Jamil Khaleli.
Alright.
Jamil Khaleli. About the history of science in Islam. It's a 3-part documentary.
Oh, okay.
Do some homework and then come and talk to me. Because if you talk to me from complete ignorance, I'm sorry, you are. You are. You really are. You really are. I can't
And name
teach
me the
you.
greatest science contribution then.
If you look at the book written by Ibn Sina,
Right.
it was used in Europe for 500 years as a foundational book for treatments such as tuberculosis and what have you.
That's just by
Okay,
one guy.
if you go to
That's not
surgical instrumentation,
discover
cataract operation, cataract
That's
operation.
just one guy.
So, yeah.
That's just some.
That's
guy.
so many.
There is so many. Okay.
If you go to the oldest, oldest books
And what
in
did-
Oxford
and
and
how-
Cambridge
Yes.
that were translated from the original Arabic,
Right.
Khaleli makes a very. I'm not sure if his surname is Khaleli. Just Google it because I don't want to keep saying it wrong. Jamil Khalili or
And so
Khalili,
time has moved on, and
He says
how did the Muslims contribute
that
now?
those books
Yeah,
were
but you need to
copied.
let him finish
Those books were copied so much.
jumping.
No, he just goes on.
Those books, those books were
Okay,
copied
I
so
believe you.
much
Thank
that,
you.
in fact, even the footnotes
Yes.
and the diagrams are identical to the Arabs.
It's like Leonardo da Vinci's
You know?
pictures.
So
He's
you have to give credit.
Is that true?
You have to
It's
give
like
credit.
Leonardo da Vinci's pictures, yes?
I don't know about
is
those.
that true?
You have to
don't
give-
know about those?
I don't know about what was copied and what was not copied about those because it doesn't interest me.
He goes on about something
but
that-
you have to give
Pardon?
credit.
It came after Da Vinci.
You have credit. You have to give
Came
credit.
up- Da Vinci came out in the 16th century.
Yeah, so Islam is 7th century. So
Yeah.
you have to give
So
credit.
It came before.
You have to give
I'm
credit.
saying it's like. Like, do you know the word like?
Okay, you have
I
to
said
give
it came
credit.
After, not before.
You have to
Yeah,
give
but it's
credit where
similar
credit is
though, isn't
due. You have to give credit
I
where
am
credit
giving
is
credit
due.
due.
Otherwise,
So
you
that's why I said it's
otherwise,
like
otherwise,
Da Vinci's drawing.
otherwise, you sound
It's
like somebody. The Muslims in to liberate them. Now, I'm not saying that.
why they-
I'm not saying throughout history
and how
that all
did-
Muslims have been good. I'm not saying that.
how did,
but I'm saying, look, let's at least be honest.
Can I ask you a question? How did Islam leave India? Why did it become back to Hinduism?
Well, it hasn't left India, has it?
No, but it was ruled by the Mughals, which
Yes.
were Muslim, which
Yes.
were Islamic.
Yes.
And why were they defeated?
It's a very simple answer, isn't it?
Why is that then?
Very simple
What's
answer.
that?
If you look at your history, our Indian history,
Yeah.
you realize that the Mongols were individual districts. They were not collaborating with one another. They were actually fighting each other.
That's
When
that's Mongolia.
India. I'm talking about the Mongols, right? The Moguls.
Mongols.
Right?
Park for a second.
Right.
India would not be in the world map today if not for the Muslims.
Very nice.
Anyway, okay.
Very nice.
So when the British go in, 300 years they rule India, right? You know that, don't you? Right?
So learn your
When
history.
the Muslim
great.
when the British went in, they ruled India for 300 years, right? How did they do that? It's all documented.
That's about power and rule, isn't it?
No, what they did cleverly.
What's that?
They were very-
Separate and
Didn't see
divide.
So they went to the Mughal here, they went to the Mughal there. They said, okay, look, you're the
And
most
Rajas.
you're the most powerful.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave you alone. We will be on your friend. We're buddies. But help us to get rid of him and get rid of him.
Yeah, you do that.
So he said, okay,
Snake in the grass.
yes. And then at the end comes the dagger in your back. And this is how history has transpired.
How it is, yeah.
Now, when you ask a question, you already know the answer to this, right? You've already studied
yeah.
this, right? So why do you ask me this question when you already know?
That's the British.
Yes.
Yes, but they were Islam left.
Islam hasn't left India.
So when did
There's still 160 million Muslims in India.
So when did the Mughal? So it was
Right.
the British who got rid of, who reduced the Islam rule in India.
Yes, they killed many scholars.
Oh, right.
In fact, the liberation of India, did you know that the liberation of India against the British, who the first people were who stood up against the English? It was the ulama, the scholars of India. And you know how many lost their lives? You go and Google it. You
How
can
did
see
the-
pictures of the British. They lined up cannons and they tied ulama, scholars, to the cannons and they shot through them. This was a punishment to show the people, don't stand up against
That's the
our
sort of
rule.
stuff they did.
This was the main party, the main people who were fighting against the occupation were Muslims.
Yeah.
They were the ones who liberated
That's what happened back in the day.
India. And you know, people, they come up with these things. What do they do for India? What have they done for India? You know,
And who
astaghfirullah,
got-
man.
and-
Where credit is due, at least have the heart, the honesty, the integrity,
I said,
the
yeah, that's what they
decency,
did.
the humility, the humanity to recognize when somebody has favored you. Yes? Today,
said that's
India
what
is
they did,
today
yeah.
India is free, and today you want to bash the Muslims.
We're not bashing
You know,
Muslims.
and you want to say that, oh, what have they done for us anyway? These extremists, these horrible people. Huh? Where is the fairness? Where is the justice?
What is the greatest things then you did? All these
They brought medicine to India.
Yeah, okay.
You look at surgery, their first cataract operation was within the Islamic Empire.
Very nice.
The treatment for tuberculosis was within the Islamic Empire. I'm not saying all knowledge originated from Islam or from Muslims.
No.
There was great knowledge before the Muslims, the Greeks.
Knowledge comes from everywhere.
It comes from everywhere.
Most
In
of
fact,
it
the
is
oldest
translated.
translations of Aristotle
All
are Arabic.
Yep.
You have to go to Arabic sources. So where the bastion, the baton of knowledge was passed from one group to the other,
Yeah.
we don't today look at the Greeks and say, what did the Greeks ever do for us? Do we say that? Because that would be highly
What did the English
ignorant.
do for India?
That would be highly ignorant.
What did the Romans
That
do?
would be highly ignorant and highly, I would say, unacademic to say that. We have to admire what the Greeks did. Great philosophy,
Yeah.
great science, mathematics, right?
And they blame.
Similarly-
And they blame.
similarly-
And they blame.
similarly-
They blame
Similarly,
the Ottoman Islamic Empire for their non-progress.
Similarly, when
you know
that
that?
when that
Did you
baton,
know that, though?
similarly that
Do you
baton
know
of
that,
knowledge,
though?
that baton of
No, but do you
knowledge,
know that, though?
when it's passed to the Muslim Empire,
That's true. You know that.
Give them the credit for what they
Greeks
did.
Blame the Ottoman
Today-
Empire for the lack of progress
today-
now.
today,
Because
what do
of
we
the
do?
Muslims.
Today, we look at the West.
Muslims used to take their children, take them back to
Today-
Turkey and the Ottoman
today-
Empire and train them to fight their mothers and fathers.
Today we look at the West,
so they've done that
and
as
we
well,
bask
okay?
in and
Very
we
well known.
recognize the advances that have been made
Yeah.
within Europe, within America. But all knowledge did not originate from Europe and from America, but we commend,
Knowledge comes from
we
everywhere.
admire
Everybody.
the people who have the knowledge today, right?
In Jainism.
So we have to be sensible and
True.
respectful.
In Jainism, because it's an ecological and environmental religion, I was born a Jain. I'm not a Jain, but I was born a Jain. One of our greatest saying is that all life is interdependent with each other. Yeah, and for a man, 500 years BC, to know that is quite profound as well. But it's no big deal, I don't think, because
Well,
everything is
it's profound.
everything is interconnected.
It's profound if he worked it out for himself
Yeah,
or whether he got it from somewhere else, right?
yeah.
Right.
Muhammad never said that.
My point to you is this, though. What exactly is it that you believe?
I do believe that. I do
What, you believe a God?
I do believe that all life is interdependent with each other.
Right.
And we have to work together and look after.
Yeah.
We
Well, looking
we should-
after
we
one
should-
another and working together
we're
is
the
a good thing.
guardians of the planet, aren't we?
But when you say
we
that-
should work together.
Yes.
We should work together and make the world a better place.
I totally agree with you.
So-
But I don't agree
But we
with you
shouldn't-
that we are somehow
so-
interconnected as
so-
one being.
And life is progress. Life is progress, and everything changes all the
So
time.
do you believe that we are all intertwined as we are one being, or we are separate beings?
we are meant to work together?
Well,
doesn't-
that doesn't mean anything, does it?
No, it does.
Because
It
we
does.
all agree to that, don't
So
we?
go on, we are intertwined.
I'm asking
No,
you
we're
what
all
you
individuals.
I'm asking what you
We
believe.
are all individuals.
Do you believe there's a creator?
We're, it doesn't matter if
I'm asking you what you believe.
It doesn't
I'm asking you what
matter.
you believe.
No, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'm asking you what angle are you coming from?
I'm an agnostic, maybe.
You're an agnostic, so you believe that there could be a creator.
Maybe, but it doesn't.
Okay.
But to me, you're better. You're better than God. To
Oh,
me.
why?
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Astaghfirullah. Right. Okay.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Right? Because I'm able to have a conversation with you. A terrible one because you go on and waffle and don't answer the question. But you.
I think I've answered everything you've asked.
No, not really. But you go on. I'm just looking for a quick, sharp answer.
But there's not always a yes or no, is
which,
there?
Which I am able to give you.
There's not always a yes
But
or no.
I do try to give you a sharp, quick
If
answer.
you say to me, what did the Muslims do in India,
but-
right? I can't just say wonderful things.
But I do try to
What are
give
you going to say to that? You're going to say, well, what wonderful things?
he's off again.
Then if I elaborate, you say you're going on. I mean, I can't win, can I?
And you're going on again. You're going on again.
I'm just giving you an
are.
explanation.
Yeah, but
So do you believe that there could be a creator?
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It does not matter.
If there is a-
what is the main cause?
If there is a creator,
What is the main cause?
if there is a creator,
main cause is we shook our hands
Yes.
on it. We should work together and make the world a better
If
place.
there is a
God
creator-
doesn't matter. God
Okay.
has done his job.
Okay.
God has done his job. He's gone on holiday now. He
If-
doesn't need somebody ringing you up,
Okay.
ringing him up 5 times a day. Oi, God, I've got a problem. Oi, God,
if there is a
5 times a day.
Okay, calm down.
No, I'm annoyed by that.
Don't be annoyed.
If I was
Don't be-
God, I'd be
Just calm down.
No, sort it out, you fucking idiot.
Okay, let's not get silly and rude. Let's not get rude.
I'm
and
trying to be
silly.
funny.
No, don't. Let's have a sensible conversation.
It is a
But
sensible
let's have some
conversation.
etiquette and
If
manners.
you were a boss,
No.
if you were
No,
a boss,
no. Veron,
Okay.
let's have
All right.
some etiquette.
Sorry about that.
Let's have some
If you were a
manners.
boss, if you're
Let's
a
have
boss,
manners,
if-
right?
Okay. If you were a boss,
Yes.
and somebody rung you 5 times a day,
Yes.
yeah, you're on holiday, yeah, what would you think?
If there is a boss, does it matter?
No, but what would you think if somebody rung you 5 times a day?
If-
Look at never answering the question.
If there is a boss, does it matter?
Have manners, etiquette.
I'm giving you an answer. If there is a boss,
Fucking calling me.
if there's a boss, does it matter?
Oh, so you reckon?
If there is a boss, does it matter?
You don't know that though, do you?
Veron, don't have a conversation with everybody.
He had a conversation
If
with me.
there's a boss, does it matter?
I'm asked. That was not the question.
I'm asking you a direct
that
question
was
now.
not the question.
Okay, what is your question? Let's answer it directly.
If say that if there was
If there is a God, basically, does it matter?
a little bit, not
Okay.
too much. Not too much.
A little
He's
bit.
done his job.
A little bit.
He's done his job.
Okay.
He has done his
How
job.
do you
Do
argue-
you think he's done his job?
Veron,
Do you
calm
think,
down.
answer the question. Do you think he's done his job?
What in relation to what?
What he's created, and what he's done.
Has he created everything? Yes, I believe he's created everything.
Yeah. So
Yes.
he's done his job.
As a matter of creation.
What more job does he need to do?
Veron, these are crazy questions.
No, he's not.
You've got a.
He's done his job.
Veron.
You're not answering the
I'm
question,
answering
are
the
you?
question directly to you. If your assumption is that this is the only job and it's the complete job, then you might have a point. But you don't know that.
So what is his
So
other
how
job?
can you argue that
So what
from,
is his
from,
other job
from
then?
ignorance?
So what is his other job?
His job is continuous. So Allah says, for example, that everything that Allah has created, Allah is sustaining it. He has to watch over it, look after it. Without Allah's direct looking after, there is nothing.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example. This universe is full of atoms, right?
Right.
We believe that the space between the atoms, if you were to take all the space away,
Yeah.
things would basically just vaporize, dissolve into nothingness.
Right, that's not going to happen.
No.
No. Listen now.
Let me
That's
just
not
finish
gonna
my
happen.
point.
So he's doing
Let me
his
finish
job.
my point.
So he's doing
Let me
his
finish
job.
my point.
So no.
Let me finish my point.
Your
Let me
point,
fin-
you're waffling again.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
Because that's nothing to do with what.
So the very power of creation, the very physics that we operate by,
Yeah.
the very biology that we have, we believe this is all in the hands and control of God Almighty.
Yeah, he is, and he's doing his job.
Yes.
Right.
If
And he
it's-
needs you to do the job as well.
Yes.
He doesn't need to keep on asking him. Oh, God, can I need
If
to do
it's
this?
un-
I need
We
to
don't do that. We don't do that.
You do
No, we
that.
don't do
What
that.
do you do
If
then?
it's
What do
unproven,
you
We don't
actually
do
do
that.
then?
Can I-
why
sorry.
do you waste your
Let-
time?
let me just-
What
let
do
me
you
just-
religion?
Let me just speak to him first, and I will address your point as well.
Because to do
Look.
what he does
Look.
is better than thanking him.
Let me answer your question.
Because that is more than thanks.
Let me answer your question. If we were friends, let's say we're friends, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Could be. If we didn't talk about God.
well, we might be.
Could be.
Okay.
If we didn't talk about God.
And I feed
I don't
you.
want to talk about God though.
And I feed
We
you.
can do. No, we can make the world
Hold
a
on,
better
Veron,
place.
Veron.
No, but we can make the world a better place.
I'm sure we can.
And we
Veron,
don't talk about God.
Veron, Veron.
Don't bring God. Don't go. Stop going on
Hold
about
it.
God though.
Veron, let's have a sensible discussion. I give you the very life that you have,
Don't go on about God.
and then
though.
I feed you and I clothe you.
Yeah,
I give you
yeah.
the faculty to reason and the eyes that from which you see. Okay? You'd at least be grateful to me, wouldn't you?
But this is
You'd at least say to me,
This
you know,
is
Abbas,
No, I
This is
carry-
you know, Abbas,
Mr.
you've given me
Speaker.
quite a lot.
You can be.
At least I'm going to
Mr.
say, I'm going to be
Speaker.
grateful.
The greatest
Mr.
thing you
Speaker.
I
can,
have to show
the
gratitude.
the greatest and the most gratitude thing you can do is carry on his good work.
That's your
Okay?
opinion.
Agreed.
No, that is
But
the
Mr. Speaker,
That's your opinion.
And so, what's better than that?
Veron, let me-
but what is better than
Veron,
that?
let
No,
me,
but what is better than that?
what is better than what?
I have a
To
question.
carry on his good work.
I have a simple
Within the
question.
Islamic context, the most virtuous.
But mine's better than that.
You got to let me finish.
No, go on then.
You're seeing things through your spectacles. I see
I'll
them.
take them off then.
I see them through my spectacles.
Alright.
So I will
Not bad,
explain
I've
to
only got
you.
one
You're
eye.
obsessed
I will
by
explain.
Muhammad. As simple as
thank
that.
God.
Yes, we are.
Now, let me put you to
Yes, we are. But let me just finish his
No,
point.
it's God
let
more
me,
than the Muhammad. It's God more than
let me
Now,
just let's look. We can't have
assume,
three conversations at the same
instead of
time.
Instead of you being born in London or New York, wherever you come from,
Yes.
let's say you're born in the middle of India and
Yes.
you're a Hindu.
Yes.
You'd have 5 gods.
Yes.
So what would you be doing then?
Yeah, geography plays a part in what it is.
my parents were born in India,
Well, that-
so I am originally Indian.
So your great grandfather was probably a Hindu.
Yes, and he converted to Islam.
Well, let's forget about this is 2019.
Yes.
Just go back a few generations. So what would he do? He's got 5 gods
Yes.
to worship.
Yes.
You've only got one.
Yes.
I haven't got
I thought
any.
it was
Yes.
only Vishnu that.
So
Yes.
So why do you bother with it all? Why do you waste your time spouting all this knowledge
Better things to do.
when the people in India have 5 gods
Because
and
they receive-
share them?
Because I'll deal with your point very quickly, but I'll go back to his. They ascertained, they investigated, they absorbed a message that they found, and you could argue that that was subjective, that they found acceptable,
Most religions are bullshit.
and then they accepted
thought
it.
Islam was the better bullshit.
And then they accepted it, as I did, even though I was born a Muslim. As many.
Now you're a Muslim. I thought you were Hindu.
No, my great grandparents probably were Hindu.
Right.
And
their religion is a lot older than this rubbish that we're spouting.
Well, and there's other religions that are older than that. The point here is they were convinced by a message and they acted upon it. Veron, back to your point. Back to your point.
It's a dream, yeah. A lie.
Veron, back to your point.
That's your point.
Go on then.
We believe that.
So you reckon?
Well,
Why believe at all?
let's relax
What's the
and have a
point of having that
conversation.
belief?
It's true
Let
though.
us have a
Believe is
conversation.
so you reckon though as
Let's
well,
let's have a
isn't it?
let's have a conversation.
So
Look,
you reckon?
if we just go into this trying to mock or trying
It's
to be
a
silly,
belief though, isn't
if
it?
we just go into joker mode, it's not gonna. You know,
It is a joke.
I'll just end the discussion because it's not worth it. It's
No,
a
you
waste of
carry
time.
on with
Then
that.
you're wasting my time, really.
Go on, carry on.
Please,
there.
let's have a sensible
Wouldn't you be
discussion.
better off learning a
Look,
foreign language? So
look,
when you,
ultimately,
when you go to Brazil,
There
you
are
can't
certain
speak to-
things that
you
you
can speak
may
Portuguese,
find acceptable
you
or
can converse with
unacceptable.
them.
Yeah, of
I
course.
may find certain things acceptable or
Parameters
unacceptable.
and morals.
They are based upon nurture and nature. Predominantly nurture, I would say, more than nature, but nurture has a big part to play, right?
Right.
Now, I may come up with an opinion about something that I may believe in, and I may provide you what I feel is evidence. That evidence may convince you, or it
can
might
only-
not convince you.
You can only do what the Imam tells
Right?
you to do.
That's not true. You really don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Okay.
Let them speak, right.
So,
It's interesting though.
so we believe Allah says that the greatest sin that a person can commit is
Sin.
associating partners with Allah, with God. That is the greatest of sins. Now you might
What
argue.
are these partners?
You might argue that for you, murder will be the greatest sin. Somebody else might argue killing a child might be the
What
greatest
are
sin.
these partners
Okay?
that you associate with
However,
Allah?
Like the
Who-
light you were saying before.
Like what?
Same light, sharing the same light.
so you attribute the divinity of God to other than God. This is association of partners with God.
Right.
Now,
So if somebody does something good,
who better?
somebody invents something good or something which is going to help human society, which is what God does, that's wrong. Is that right?
I didn't say that.
So what are you trying to
It's a
say
straw
then?
man argument. What I said to you is this: for us as Muslims, the judgment about right or wrong, good or bad, how bad or how good,
Right.
obviously comes from our religion. Okay,
So-called religion. Go on.
I don't know why you have to add that in.
Yeah, well,
No, we can
it's true.
disagree.
It's true. It's a belief.
Veron,
isn't it?
we can disagree.
What does belief mean?
Veron,
Let's get.
Veron.
What does belief mean? That means you reckon. That's what you think.
Something is unproven.
No,
Yeah, totally
no,
unproven.
No, that's not the
So
dictionary.
you reckon.
That is not the dictionary.
What is
conclusion.
it then? What's a belief then?
Accept, convinced by,
Convinced by what?
accept,
Convinced by what?
convinced by, what? Convinced
other
by,
people.
convinced by evidence and argument.
People are more important
That's a
than we are.
belief.
That's yeah. but-
Now, hold on. A belief can be with or without evidence.
Oh, so
However,
you reckon-
right,
So that's what
right.
you reckon.
However,
So what's wrong with
however,
me saying that's what you reckon then?
Veron. However, the veracity of my belief can be analyzed and challenged upon the reasons that I provide
You ain't said
for
anything
holding it. For holding it.
I'm not saying anything
Now,
today though.
you might have different reasons whereby you don't agree with my reasons.
Yeah, well I come out with better stuff. That's
Well,
why.
so you think, Veron?
I do.
It's
You
nice.
haven't come out with
it's
anything
nice
good,
to-
though. But you
it's-
haven't come out with
okay.
anything good.
Well, according to your view, right? You're
No, it's
entitled.
true.
You're entitled to it. You don't
I've been
listen to.
listening.
You don't listen to anything I say.
You didn't answer. What did he come
Anyway.
out with then?
Well, he
What did he
talks
come
about, for example, I never knew nothing about the Indian history, and now I know a little bit. But you didn't.
Yeah, I knew that.
And he's Indian as well, and he has no clue. And then
I
he's
know about
telling me,
that.
what did Muslims do in India then? And I'm explaining to him.
No, I
And then
didn't say that.
You
I
go
said-
on. You go on
I
too
said,
much.
well, how did
Indians
the
shouldn't-
Muslims?
Indian
leave.
Muslims should.
They haven't
India.
left. There's
Muslims shouldn't
160
be in
million.
No, but how did they lose their power in
Because in
India?
I explained that to you, didn't I?
Yeah,
Some
and I said, yeah,
divided
fair
them.
enough.
Yeah.
And
So
it
it was the
caused
British I said to you,
thousands to
didn't I?
die.
I did listen to you,
You
didn't I?
must know
And I agreed
that.
with you. And I said it was separately
India-
divided. I understand.
Veron, our perspective
I did
is
listen to
Veron.
The Muslims in India are subjugated.
Veron. They are. That's
How
right. Yes,
could-
they are.
In what way don't I listen then?
Veron.
So why do you
Every
have
time that he
a
was trying to explain something.
Is that why you're
he
here
just
now? Because you got
tried to
subjugated?
jump
But
somebody.
I
Yes,
did
probably part of it,
understand,
yes.
And I said to him because of the British, and it was because of separate
Okay,
divide.
Veron, look, our
so
view.
I did listen, didn't I?
Veron, our view is.
So you're making it up as you go along as well.
No, but I
You
said
are.
many times you didn't
Yeah,
let
yeah,
him
yeah.
finish.
Because he waffled on.
You see?
He just goes on.
But I like doing that.
Yeah.
I like
Don't
doing
do
that.
it. Stop it. New Year's resolution. Just tell people what they want to hear.
In August.
Don't just go on and on and on and on.
New Year's resolution. Okay.
Don't.
Do you have any
don't
other
bore the
questions? Because
crap
I'd
out
like
of
to talk to
people.
this brother here. Do you have any other questions?
Yes.
One last
it's
question.
A belief. Look, so it is a so.
It's a
when
belief.
when I said, do you reckon? I don't. There's nothing wrong with why I say that.
Well, reckon is more of a street.
So believe.
Street analysis of like
There's nothing wrong with
so
street.
You, so you reckon this
They
and you
say
reckon that.
they say
I know, but
the
I can-
fastest. They say the fastest changing thing, like fastest fashion, is words.
Street talk,
Is
yeah.
words.
Yeah, God help us, yeah.
So Muhammad was just speaking. I'm just speaking.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not saying the final word because I know that words can change. Just like that. So the last messenger is not. There's no such thing as last messenger.
the difference
because I
is-
can say something different or something new.
The difference
which
is
supersedes.
the difference is-
supersede. Is that not true?
The difference is
supersedes
the difference is
the
that his
past.
the difference is that his words
Are nothing special. No.
his words
Are nothing special.
are still recited today
By idiots.
by over 14 centuries later,
Say something good.
and he is.
And you just said something.
Say something good.
And you said.
Okay,
And you
I'll
said,
give you-
and
I'll give you something
go on
good.
then. And
I'll
I'll
give you
say.
something good.
I'll
give you
and
something
I'll say
good.
something very similar to that.
I'll give you something good.
Okay.
The Prophet ﷺ said that a non-Muslim in a Muslim land,
Right.
if he's treated unjustly,
Yeah.
I will be his advocate on the day of judgment.
That's just been
What a
nice
wonderful
guy.
thing to say.
That's just being a nice guy.
What a wonderful
What's the
thing
big
to
deal?
say.
That is no
A
big
prophet
deal.
saying to his
And
people,
we're all doing that.
treat the non-Muslims
We're all
with
doing
respect,
that now.
with dignity, otherwise
That's
you're
no
in
big
trouble.
deal.
I'm going to be on their side.
There's no
Isn't that
big
an amazing
deal.
thing? Veron,
No, it's not.
pleasure.
That is not a big
Veron,
deal.
pleasure to meet you.
That's not-
You're not going to shake my hand.
Aren't
We
do-
shook it 5 times and
aren't
now
we-
you're going to refuse.
Aren't we all
That's
doing
nasty.
that now, though?
What's
aren't
that?
we? What you just said, what he said.
You said,
Aren't we all
you
doing
said,
that now?
tell me something nice, wonderful, right?
Tell
And I
me
did.
Something different.
And I did. That's amazing.
That's not
In the
different.
7th century,
That is not.
from a prophet of the Arabs, just come up with that. That's amazing.
And in Jainism.
Well, good luck
and,
with that.
And do you know why you do that?
What's that?
Do you know why you do that? In Jainism, they said all life is interdependent with each other. So you should look after and take care.
I think you
of
should look after everybody. I think you should do that.
Which is better, greater than what
Which is what the
Muhammad
Prophet
said.
ﷺ also said.
No,
Nice to
he
meet you,
never
Veron.
said anything. Yeah.
So
It was
I
painful.
won't sum up on that one. Hi guys, how you doing? You all right? You okay?
Great.
Where have you guys come down?